I'm gonna drop.
What is love? Let's take a peek. A little wild, a little chic. From heart to heart, it's quite the ride. Grab your snacks, we'll be your guide. Lollydabbing through this life with Richard and Keri, it's all delight. Love's a puzzle, love's a game. Let's dive in, no two the same. The romance, friends or family ties, a sunset glow, those starry skies. Moments fleeting, big and small. Turns out love might just be all. Lollydabbing through this life with Richard and Keri, it's all delight. Love's a puzzle, love's a game. Let's dive in, no two the same. Lollydabbing through this life with Richard and Keri, it's all delight. With Keri and Richard, love takes flight. Laughs and wonder, every hue. We're here to share it all with you. So hit play and join the fun. The love-filled journey's just begun. From silly to sweet, it's quite a view. Lollydabbing through with you, with you.
Well, hello there.
Hello.
There are some big expectations for the show. It started
I
with
know,
sodas
and
and
that's-
hot dogs, and now we're supposed to ship a car to Australia.
It's
I'm not
it's
really
a
sure what we're supposed to do with
1974
that.
Renault. Okay, that's take it or
We're
leave
sending
it.
you a Peugeot. I mean, they're pretty light cars. We might be able to ship that to Australia. Do you
It's
want to
still
start
gonna
with
cost a
saying
couple
hi
bucks.
to people in the chat, and then
Yes.
we'll go from there?
Yes, when I look over here at nothing, that means I'm looking at you in the chat. Hi, everybody in the chat. When I'm
Well,
looking
that's-
here at you talking to you in chat, I'm not looking at chat. So there you go. That's the way
You're
it
looking
works.
at me because that's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
While you say hi to the people in the chat, I'm going to add moderation privileges to those
Awesome.
that I know.
Cool.
deserve
Well,
it.
hello,
How about
Chad,
that?
and welcome. Good. Hello, Robbie. I see. Who else do I see out there? Camelia's out there. I hope somebody else is out there lurking. Because I like lurkers. No, I love lurkers. Lurkers are. Can I touch them? No, that's not what this show is
That's
about.
creepy, Richard. That's
I'm
just
just.
creepy.
Well, it's supposed to be creepy. Captain Sarcasm.
Captain Creepy. Captain Creepy. Hey, Mikey. Welcome.
Mikey, right on. Good to see you, brother.
Listen, I'm handing out these moderator badges, but I reserve the right to take them away as quickly.
Chad wants the 73. You got to bring your own wheels and a trailer.
Yeah.
Okay, it is free, but you need wheels and a trailer for a 74 Renault. Okay.
And you got to pay taxes on it, and free is never free. Free is never
Yep.
free.
Free is the most expensive thing you'll ever get, in my opinion.
I always do shows with creeps. You know what, Chad? Speak for yourself. I mean, you resemble that remark.
But I'm creepy in a lovable way, I think,
I mean, aren't we all? We are all
Yeah.
creepy in a
I just,
lovable,
I don't want to.
lovable way.
Absolutely. I
So,
like my creepy.
welcome everybody to the first episode of Lollydabbing with Richard and Keri. Because it's February, we've decided to embrace this concept of love. And today we're going to start with the most important love that you can have, and that is your self-love. Loving yourself. Not masturbation. I mean, that could be a form. That could be a
I'm
form
out.
of it. But I mean, listen. We're not here to shame anybody for what they do.
But that's not the kind of self-love we are talking about.
Or also like that's the easiest one liner. Like masturbation. That's a form of self-love. End of that story. Moving on.
Yes. No, Chad, it's not a show about masturbation. I got you.
No,
bro.
this is not going to be an instructional show. No
That's
demonstration. It's not a demonstration show
It's
either.
terrifying. Nobody wants to see that, Chad. Nobody.
That's why we do it in private.
Yes.
That's why we do it in
Should be
private.
so okay. For this segment, do your nasties in private, not in public. There. See what we've learned already?
I mean,
we're already making progress.
Masturbation in public is a one-way ticket to making the list. You know, the list I'm speaking of. The list where your neighbors try to ostracize you and such. So
Right, because we don't need you in a gene pool. Thank you very much.
well, listen, if we don't go a little off the rails, Robbie, this would just be a boring self-help show. And we're not about boring self-help. We're about growth and evolution. Speaking of evolution.
The perfect segue to the beginning of the segment.
I think so. I think this is February. And categorically speaking, we can't see our hands. You also can't see the fact that we're not wearing any pants, Robbie. But moving on. So this is categorically the time of year where people give up on their New Year's resolutions. That is a pop culture thing, also a statistic. I think resolutions in and of themselves are slightly problematic. However, I don't think that setting a goal for your future year is the problem. I think the problem literally comes from the word resolution. So I looked up some definitions here. You want me to share my screen, Richard?
Yes, please, because that makes it easier for me to see your notes because I didn't make any.
Ah, who's doing their homework here? See, Chad, I do homework, just homework that matters.
See, that's right. Camelia's always wanted a 73 Renault. Oh my God, I picked the wrong car.
You should know better. You should know better. Don't make promises you can't keep.
Right. All right, what do we got up here on
Okay,
the
so I just went to
resolutions?
the good old Merriam-Webster, and the definition of resolution is the act or process of resolving, the act of analyzing a complex notion into simpler ones, the act of answering or solving, or the act of determining. I think those first three are really the only ones that kind of apply in the
Yes.
New Year's resolution sort of sense. What do you think of those kind of first three parts of resolution? What do you think is problematic?
Well,
In that.
it's problematic in that if you're making a New Year's resolution to do something new, it's not the end, it's the beginning. You're starting at the wrong end.
I love that. Yes, absolutely. It's sure that can be an act or a process of resolving. So that's like an ending something. It's
Right.
bringing something to nod to the definition B, the answer solving. You solved it.
Playing
Right.
devil's advocate,
I'm going
one
to
could
lose
say,
weight by
well, I want to be less obnoxious. So I'm resolving to fix that. Well, you're still putting the cart in front of the horse as far as I'm concerned, because you have no basis on which to
context.
solve. Yeah.
Well, right. I'm going to be less obnoxious. Well, according to who? What is the behavior that defines obnoxiousness? And that is like I have done. I'm going to be less obnoxious. Done. And I think humans are far more nuanced than that. I don't think that you can set a goal for yourself for the year
Absolutely agree.
and have that be done. Which is why I think that people really tend to give up on whatever they've resolved that New Year's Eve, whatever they said is that resolution, right? I prefer to think a little bit more in terms of evolution for the New Year's. How am I going to evolve over the next year? So I'm going to be less obnoxious. Well, what are the steps of evolution in which to become. Well, first, I don't know, maybe find out from people what is obnoxious about you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Turn to those people and tell them.
And you can't
Ask
get mad
questions
at them when
and
they
listen
tell
to
you.
hard answers.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's a first step.
You know, I think if your New Year's evolution is to be less obnoxious,
Welcome, Auntie Jack.
the first thing would be listening to other people makes most people less obnoxious.
Would you please? I agree. Would you please drop a wrench on Auntie Jack, please?
I will.
Thank you.
Let me go back to my.
Anyway, didn't mean to get that out. I just
here.
saw him pop in there, and I wanted to get that done before I forgot because, well, I'll probably
Thank
forget
you.
anytime, any second.
Oh, I don't know everybody as well as
Auntie has been
Oh.
helping me for years in my lame lives. So even if he can't be here, he'll be listening. Just trust me on this.
Oh.
You want him in your corner.
Well, good to meet you, Auntie Jack. There you go. Okay. So I think that being said, I'm going to share the definition of evolution. Which, you know, you might have to get a little bit. Okay. So the definition there reads, descent with modification from pre-existing species, a cumulative inherited change in a population of organisms, blah, blah, blah. That probably doesn't apply so much. Something, you know, about species and phonology. But I'm going to take this number 2 definition.
Yeah, I was going to say
for
number
our
2
purposes,
is where it starts.
and that is the process of change in a certain direction. Yes, process of change in a certain direction, a sort of unfolding, or a process of, whereas resolution was about kind of reducing everything to its simplest pieces. This is more of a taking things from a simpler state to a more complex or a better state, growth, a process of gradually or relatively peaceful social, political, or economic advance, process of working out or developing, okay? Which is why I love the word New Year's evolution as
It works much better for me.
State of self-love.
If I look at the last...
Yeah.
I always look inward
listen,
first.
Mikey.
It's all good.
You can listen while you do the dishes, Mikey.
You can
I'm just
listen
saying.
while you do the dishes, brother.
We don't expect you to engage.
Take care, Mikey.
Yeah. This might actually
anyway,
help you with a happy wife, happy life situation.
If I look at the last, say, 7 years of my life, since I became permanently disabled, had to fight through to get my disability, and then, well, all the shit hit the fan because I realized that, well, I don't have to work, but I still want to work. I still want to do stuff. I'm not dead. I just can't work the job I used to work. So what do I do? How do I make myself worth something? And I started a process where I started looking at me and moving forward one piece at a time, one problem at a time, one thing at a time. And here we are 7 years later. I'm in my own place, which I never thought I would be able to live in my own space again. I had given up on that all. Javel, hello. I'd given up on that. And this has been, through this entire thing, without going into all the gory details, it's been an evolution. It's not a resolution. I didn't resolve to be who I am today. I decided I needed to change and then found ways to affect some change in me. That's why I like the evolution as well.
Right. So I don't know if it's your internet being a dick or mine, but you were kind of cutting out a little bit.
Yep. I can see you are frozen currently.
So maybe
oh,
the
that
chat
was not a
will
good
let us know.
expression. Oh, you didn't know. You don't want it to freeze there. I can't even repeat that It was something like that. Yes, it was very bad. It seems to be working again now. I don't know whose it is. I didn't seem to have any freezing on my end, so I'm going to blame it on you because I don't want to take responsibility. See, Jackie Sins is out there now. Look at all these people. Thank you, folks, for coming in.
Yeah, it's probably my internet. It's probably my interwebs. Yes, well,
I'm gonna blame it. I'm gonna blame it on your internet.
We've got so many
if it
people
becomes a
supporting
big
us. I love
problem
that.
or something like that, we can always flip flop it and do the live from my channel for a while till you get things
Yeah,
figured
we'll
out. It
refresh
doesn't matter.
something.
So these
There's
are
no
the kinds
figuring it
of
out. It
things
is
I
what it is until
expect.
it's
So yeah, it is what it is. Internets.
So
I like that
evolution
analogy.
versus resolution, and I
Yep.
think when people fall flat, yeah, blame pole vault. Sure,
Yes,
I'll drink
it
for
works.
that.
When you fail,
So
you feel
when
like
people
a failure.
set their New Year's resolutions, I'm going to right when they say something like I'm going to achieve X by doing Y and Z. I think that by focusing on the X and letting Y and Z truly be variables to kind of evolve.
Mm-hmm.
Am I back now?
Yes, you're back. You're back.
I'm
We can
trying
hear
to
you the whole. I can hear you the whole
pause so
time.
that
It's
my
just
words
your
come through.
video's freezing.
So like, fine. I'll just go to stop cam. Watch this. Watch this, internet. Watch this. Now it's not even letting me push buttons. Like
Yeah, I was
stop
gonna say
cam.
now it won't even let. Okay, there it finally.
Stop
Nope, it's
share
on.
screen.
Nope, it's off. Nope, it's on. Okay, now it's off. Stop clicking.
For God's sakes, this is ridiculous.
I can
I'm
hear
gonna
you
click
just fine.
until. Good.
Yep, you
All
seem
right.
to
So I'm
be-
gonna
you
go to
seem to
this
be
for
your
just a
icon
second.
now.
Let my. Yes, I am my icon, my lovely puppy, and me sitting in the sunshine. Anyway, you don't do algebra. Listen,
This
I
doesn't
know our
require
teachers
math,
told us we'd always leave.
honest.
It's solving for the unknown, right? Solving for the unknown for the other side of the equal sign. To get better internet. Listen, I am taking donations for better internet. I'm just saying.
Right. Right.
Right now I use Verizon wireless, and it's just for the convenience of the bill being all in one. So I can't. It gets no better than this. And it is math. It really is math, but only in an abstract sense. You're solving for the unknown. If you want a new result in your life, there's a bunch of different ways to get there. And most people set their resolutions as the ways to get there as opposed to focusing on that result. And so I think that that's why it's so easy to fall off of whatever it is that you resolved to do differently
Mm-hmm.
in January, because you're like, well, this isn't working. This is too hard. This, just all the mind fucks that we kind of do to ourselves when we're not seeing immediate resolves.
And we do those, every one of us.
We did. But if we focus on the result as opposed to the behaviors that we think will get us that result, I truly think that that is a way of loving ourselves more, because we could be more patient with ourselves. We're more willing to be experimental. We're more willing to affirmative action. Yes. And also the willingness, I think, Camellia, to change what that action is and walk ourselves backwards if we need to. So like if you want to work out every day because you want to be healthier or lose weight,
Or look like Falco.
there's like more than one way. There's more than one way.
Just like there's more than one way to solve a math problem.
Yeah, there's more, especially an algebra problem.
There's only one right answer. I never disagreed with my math teachers about that. But don't tell me there's only one way to arrive at that answer, because you're wrong. if you think there is only one correct way to end up at that answer. And it's really more to me about.
That was my drum roll. I don't have the soundboard.
That's okay. I don't have a soundboard either.
So.
For me, it's more about allowing. This is going to sound strange in the context of what we're talking about, but hang with me for a minute. It's more about allowing myself to fail in order to get to the next success. Thomas Edison did not invent a light bulb by making a light bulb. He failed hundreds, if not thousands of times. The difference between those failures and our failures in the context of this is he looked at each one of those as, I'm one step closer to the right one.
Well, or I figured
I've eliminated, now I know that doesn't
there.
work, so now I can move on to something else. And I think that's that. I think that's apropos in this. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, it's about focusing on the result that you want and not being attached to the steps that you think you need to get there. And I think that by discovering what your limitations are, being honest with yourself in that unfolding or that evolving that you want to accomplish for this next year is a much better way to start your year. I'll be perfectly honest. I don't finish deciding what it is that I want to evolve about myself until probably March. I mean, to be real, I'm like, okay, what is going to be the thing this year? Mm-hmm. You know, and I kind of play around with different things and I see what kind of there's easy wins and then there's harder things. And I just kind of play around with what I think after doing something for a full year is going to give me that biggest sense of evolution by the end of the year. And so I may want to lose weight and I want to learn how to play the ukulele and I want to have a more stable financial situation. All of these things I hold in my heart and my mind during those kind of the first sort of quarter of the year. And I play around with different ways to kind of accomplish that.
Yeah.
And then I see what's kind of settling in, what's going to be harder for me, what's going to be an easy win for me. And that way, by February, I haven't given up. I'm really just kind of solidifying what you're. Oh, I don't want to go to the gym. I might as well not bother. Whatever, It's like, okay, well, going to the gym doesn't seem to fit my current lifestyle. However, I can eat differently. That's something that I can call a win. And after a year of eating differently, you're going to feel different. You're going to have a different sense of health. But maybe eating differently is hard for me that year. So it is the physical activity that is better for me. So it's like, I think that one of the biggest forms, in conclusion to the New Year's evolution versus resolution speak, have patience with yourself. Being patient with yourself is one of the number one ways that you can show yourself love. And by being patient with yourself and allowing yourself to evolve as opposed to putting restrictions or absolutes on yourself is going to show you a better sense of self-love at the end of the year as opposed to making those absolutes.
Camellia makes a great point, and it fits this conclusion perfectly. You do not stop old habits. You just don't. If you have a habit, you have to change something to remove that habit from your life. Smoking cigarettes. I smoked for 44 years. I had to remove that habit from my life.
And you removed it by replacing it with new habits. That's really the great point. There's actual cognitive studies about reinforcement for the habits that to replace is going to be more successful than to stop absolutely. And so the best thing, again, the patience with yourself. Acknowledge, but don't lie to yourself. Acknowledge the fact that I'm replacing this with that. But that's okay.
That's okay.
Because that's a step in the right direction.
Maybe
know?
you started vaping the nicotine things, and then maybe you went to the lower dosage and weaned off it that way.
And then maybe
And
you
now you
started
just
doing
have a
heroin in
flavored
order
vape.
to replace cigarettes. Fine.
Yeah,
Just be honest with yourself about it.
yeah. I mean, it's ridiculousness. But if you don't set proper plans, if you don't go through an evolution, it won't be a resolution anyway.
Yeah.
Because you're going to fail not only at those steps, but you're going to fail at the ultimate goal as well. Because you didn't allow yourself the room to be able to change lanes and go somewhere
Listen,
else.
I have a real problem with authority, and that includes my own authority. I tell myself something to do something, and I immediately rebel against it. So I have to.
I'm not doing that.
You can't tell me. I really do. Like I have to kind of come at myself sideways with that, and a lot of that has to do with like, it's not willpower is finite. You can't have willpower in and there's studies, forgive me for not pulling them up ahead of time, but there are studies that say that like willpower will run out. And so if you're trying to just drag yourself through things with willpower, you probably will not be as successful as you want to be. Now, you can engineer success with your environment. That's going to be a lot more successful than just trying to have self-discipline. Nobody likes to be, well, okay, maybe some people like to be listen, there's there's no kink shaming here, but when you try to force yourself through something as opposed to engineering success, and that's, to me, that's the biggest difference between evolution and resolution, is I'm engineering my success through this concept and the thought of evolution versus resolution. So like this works for me because it's how I'm engineering my brain to be more successful. So at the end of the year, I get to celebrate. Regardless.
Exactly. And you should always set a reward. Always. Always set a reward.
We're creatures.
Even
man.
whether it's a monetary, whatever. Okay, your weakness is chocolate. You get to have, if you make every workout in the week, I'm just making this up, then you get to have a Lind chocolate truffle at the end of the week. That is
you can
not
have 50 if you want. Because I can tell you right now, like having some chocolate at the end of the week, if you manage to work out, physically do something that you hadn't done. Yeah.
And that's your payoff. But without that goal in mind, you won't have anything to shoot for. You might fail. You might fail, and you might eat the chocolate anyway. But those are decisions that are not related to what you started out to do in the first place. That's when you start over again with a new plan. You just don't quit.
And that's when you realize, okay, rewarding myself with chocolate is not what's going to get me there at the end of the day. I should just let myself eat chocolate as I feel fit and come up with a different way to evolve myself with my health, because rewarding myself with chocolate is not doing it. So therefore,
that's sad, Robbie. That's sad. I'm just going to be completely honest. That is sad. If I had let myself think like that, I would not be where I am today, and you wouldn't either.
I'm going to push back a little bit, because doing what you wanted and needed to do, I mean, he's not wrong.
It's the overall concept that I'm saying is sad, because it's just down to being alive, honestly. I'm not ever going to be happy with just being alive. I could be a vegetable in a hospital and be alive.
Well, okay, I hear what you're saying there, but also
my mind will always go worst case. My mind will always go worst case. So
what I'm hearing Robbie say is that he's about being present and doing what he wanted and needed to do, and he's living in the moment, is how I read that. And trying
why
not
does
to
that have to do with
overthink.
age? See, that's the younger people. I'm 60. I ain't done.
Well, right. But I think that Robbie is probably still growing and evolving in a lot of ways, even if it's not explicit. I mean, we see that through his music.
I know.
Like I said, I'm going to push back a little bit on that. I mean, maybe he misstated, but I see a lot more nuance to that statement. But I mean, I hear what you're saying.
It's
I hear what
okay.
you're saying.
Is
But
this our
but
first
also,
is this our first fight? Can we make
it's our
up
first
now?
fight. This is
All
our first fight.
right.
But you know, that's what we're here for. That's what we're
That
here
is
for.
exactly what we're here for. Not
Because,
to
like I
fight, but
said,
to find
I
out
don't-
the differences.
For Robbie to say that he's not growing as a person, I think is not explicitly a true statement, because I see Robbie grow in
He's
his
growing.
music. So like maybe it's not like explicitly stated in a New Year's evolution or a New Year's resolution, but
Agreed.
but he's letting his evolution, his growth as a human be a little bit more nuanced and more to a back burner, which I also think is fine.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Right. See, and now that gives it more context, Robbie. Just overcoming everyday struggles is the main thing. That's a goal for you now, because it's difficult for you to do that. It is
I
for me
feel
some
this.
days too. So absolutely, you've just reinforced context is everything. Taking your previous statement out of this context, I got to put my own context into your statement. So good on you. Thank you for clarifying, because now I agree.
Well, and for me, one of my evolutionary goals for this year is to have everyday stability. And that addresses exactly what Robbie is saying, is getting through that everyday thing. It is all fine and dandy to have lofty goals, your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan. But if you can't live day to day,
Yeah.
what good are those doing you?
Yeah.
They're
not
doing you
any
no good. Zero good. Yeah. So like, I mean, like literally, I want to learn to play the ukulele, but not going to let it get in the way of what I need to accomplish on a day-to-day basis to achieve stability, so that my day-to-day doesn't feel like such a struggle.
Yep.
You know,
and I agree.
That's emotional
And that was-
stability, that's financial stability, that's all the stabilities. And just
you
kind
went,
of,
this is the stability category, and I'm putting all these things in that basket.
and I've decided, and it's a lot of it is a decision, like my struggles daily are not going to be like anybody else's struggles daily, but I have decided that these things need to take priority over being being extraordinary. Like I've literally set the goal to be mid. You know, which I think we're told. I mean, okay, so that kind of segues into like the next little note that I have here about like self-love, of indulgence versus like regenerational self-love. And so I could get in the way of myself by trying to have like these indulgences to love myself, as opposed to like I'm going to be in the struggle to try and achieve stability day to day. Standing up and moving and not falling off of stuff. Listen, not dropping and breaking shit is literally part of my idea of being more stable.
Yeah. It's everybody's thing is different.
And if it
And
means I have to skip my bubble bath for the day in order to spend more time so I'm not moving as quickly, so I'm not dropping shit and breaking shit all the time and making more messes, fine.
Yep.
That is literally
I don't disagree at all. I don't disagree at all.
Yeah. So I think don't let anybody tell you what's important, for one. And so like when somebody says you need to take some, you know, we all have those well-meaning friends that are like, take some more time for yourself. Maybe you should have a girls' night or a bubble bath or, you know, all these things. If those things get in the way of my stability currently, it's not worth it to me. You know, and not only that, but like what is that bubble bath really affording me? You know, am I taking that bubble bath at the expense of what I want to address for the year? Am I taking that bubble bath at the expense of connecting with my daughter? You know, am I taking that bubble bath as a sort of selfish indulgence, or am I actually using that as a regenerational activity?
And there's a big difference between those two, as we were talking about just before the show. There's a big difference between something that is indulgent and something that is regenerational.
Yes. I think there's a lot of tropes, especially to women. Especially
Mm-hmm.
to women.
Yep.
We are conditioned by society, movies, TV, to do certain activities as forms of self love. And I don't know what it's like for men. What kind of activities are you told that are more indulgent than truly like regenerational? I don't know what it's like to be a man.
As
I've
far
only
as
been a woman.
in society, it's not as bad for men as it is. I mean, probably the gray hair craze, get rid of your gray hair, the Grecian formula, the whatever for men things, those kinds of things, because it always
Eat your
seems
blue
to
chews, etc.
be right. It always
Because
seems to
having
be
sex is
about
definitely more important than anything else.
a physical difference, not a physical health difference, but a physical difference. I've got more
Hmm.
stamina. I've got more desire. I've got less gray hair. I've got what. If those things matter to you, then put them into your life plan and make them part of it. But you need to sit down. This is honesty once again. You need to sit down with yourself, only yourself, and make a list. What do you like
Hmm.
about me? What do I not? And you're asking yourself this question, literally. What do I like about me? What don't I like? And write it down. I did it.
Right.
It sucks. It is not fun. If you're being honest with yourself, there's so many things that I found out that I don't like about myself, being honest with myself,
Yeah.
but they also gave me tools to work with and things when I see myself doing something, losing
And
my
how much
temper
does that thing
or
that you don't like about yourself really matter to you?
it
And how much is it like society making it matter to you?
it is all society making it matter in the most in most of the context. Now, if I'm getting mad or being if I'm wronging someone on a personal level, that's a different situation. But if I'm just punishing myself because of my past problems and things that I've done, well, people say, well, you should not ever not feel guilty. Well, okay. But do I punish myself for the rest of my life and hold myself back from being able to be a happy, well adjusted human being? No, I don't think so. I think I have to find a balance between the two because, first of all, I am who I am. I'm 60 years old. There's only so much of me that can change because there's only so much I'm willing to change. What are
I
the
think
key
that's the
points?
key. You could change everything that you wanted to change. But
Absolutely.
what are you willing? What are you willing to change?
What am I willing to change? And
What are
that's
you
where you
willing
have
to
to start.
change?
That's why that list has to happen. You don't have to say, "Oh, look, I'm a degenerate and oh, yeah, no, I don't want to do that." So you pick the worst one. Well, no, pick the easiest one. This is a long game in my
Yeah.
view. This is not a there are sometimes you will get an immediate reward, but most of this is a plan for tomorrow, next week, the week after. You get this building block done and then you reevaluate and you set the next step in place once you've achieved your goal. Um, at
Well,
least
and
that's
even
how I've
then,
so far.
goals are so they're useful for imagining the future, and there is science
Mm-hmm.
behind if you can't imagine a different future or imagine a future for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
then you literally start living differently today. There's
Yep.
something to be said for that. However, the self like sort of flagellation of like beating yourself up because you don't achieve that goal to the letter. I subscribe to a multiple sort of goal theory, I guess it would be, where you have like the thing that you need to do today as a goal, and then like, and that's fine to tell people about, and then there's like
Mm-hmm.
the sort of objective accomplishments you want to see like in your lifetime, and then there's like the intangible goal, the goal that you don't tell anybody about, the change that you want to see in the world, but you don't speak to it because sometimes you can drench yourself in the dopamine of just telling people what it is that you want to do as opposed to doing the thing. There's something
Mm-hmm.
to be said about saying, I'm going to XYZ. And then because you've told all these people about it, you flood your brain with the dopamine, and then you literally have lack of motivation to take the steps necessary to see that happen. And Stephen Kotler talks a lot about the unmentionable goal, the highest level goals, the things that you couldn't possibly accomplish, but you just kind of want to create a path for other people to be able
Right.
to follow once you're gone, because it's like this legacy goal, right? It's this
Yep.
legacy way of being. Um, and that kind of comes back to this surface indulgence of being different or loving yourself versus like this regenerational thing. And that's not about sacrifice. I think a lot of people talk about self-love being a sacrifice. I have to sacrifice time with my family. I have to sacrifice this, that, or the other in order to take care of myself. And I think that it's more about setting these sort of boundaries. And that's not telling
Boundaries is
other
a much
people
better
what
word than goals.
well, and I think boundaries is grossly misunderstood sort of action to take, because people think setting boundaries is about telling other people how they need to behave around you, when setting boundaries should be more about how you're going to behave in the instance in which
Yep.
something you find unacceptable is around you. So like a boundary is not you need to stop being like this. That is, if you decide that you want to continue doing XYZ Velcro, I am going to drop you from the stream.
It's a natural consequence that is completely.
And you have enforced consequences and natural consequences. There's some that are enforced upon us by society, and there's some that just kind of naturally unfold, and you realize, well, maybe that was not the best.
Don't really need to do that.
Right. And we don't always see it right away. And I think that that's okay. And that comes back to having, patience with yourself.
Having patience with myself is probably one of the hardest things that I've had to learn,
Oh, Jesus.
because
Is
I
it?
have a
It
lot
really
of
is.
patience with other people, I
So
do.
much.
but I have very little patience for myself at all. I mean, one misstep and I'm like, the whole thing's fucked. And then
such
I'm
an
mad
asshole.
at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such an
And then
asshole.
I'm mad
why
at
do
me.
why do I do that to myself? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the allowing yourself to fail, knowing it's okay. Well, okay, I know that didn't work. Let's try something different and see if that'll work. Because, like the Tom Settis analogy, each failure is not a failure in and of itself. It's now one step closer to a success, because you know that thing's not going to work, so you get to try something new.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think being able to set things aside, you know what I mean? Like if you're not seeing the results that you want to see in a certain area of your life, I think it's
Yep.
because you have to consider, like, there are circumstances that we cannot control. And basically, circumstances are anything outside of our skin. That's other people. That's, like, there are literal circumstances that work against us. And sometimes we have to sort of surrender to our circumstances and look at what we can actually control and be really real with ourselves about what is actually outside of our control in that moment. In that
It's more of that honesty thing. It's more of the list. The list doesn't. I use the list as the thing where you sit down and you figure out what you don't like about yourself. But that same list can be used for many, many things. It doesn't have to be a don't like. It can be a pro and con, or it can be a do or a don't, or a what happens if and if not.
And the thing about lists is you can actually and
Throw
start
away
over.
and start over again. And
Those
it's
were
okay
my
to do
notes
that.
for the show, by the way. So
And it's okay. Well, I was just getting ready to say we're coming up on the halftime. How far are we into your points that you wanted to?
Well, they're over there now, and I have short.
Well, I know they're over there now, but hopefully you remember there was only 3 of them, and I remember
There was only
2,
3.
so-
We've covered a lot of it. We've covered a lot of
have.
it.
We
We've
have.
covered the evolution versus resolution. We've covered what is like indulgences versus actual regenerative. Actually, no, we haven't touched on what can be actually regenerative. If taking a bubble bath is the point, is to have some time to sit in your feelings, to sit in your thoughts, to clear your mind, to reset yourself, then absolutely take a bubble bath, go for a walk, do the thing. But the fact of the matter is, you have to be cognizant of whether or not what you're doing is to escape or it is to regenerate. And I think that all of these things, especially being a woman, go shopping, hang out with the girls, what's one that venting. Venting is something that really drives me crazy. People tell you to go vent to your friends. And actually, for me, and I don't know how this is for other people, but by venting to my friends about something that is going astray in my life, what I'm actually doing is giving that thing that is going astray more power. More oxygen. And really, 9 times out of 10, I need to give that thing less oxygen. So by complaining about something, I'm really just looking for people to collude with me.
Yes.
Then I am looking for a way to regenerate my energy to deal with the thing.
And I think a problem solved. I'm not saying you shouldn't get your friends to help. You need help. You need help. Get help. Doesn't matter.
Help.
You need someone to hold You need someone to hold you accountable. Find your closest friend, the one that you fought with a dozen times over life, maybe even had fist fights with, but you're still friends. That's the kind of people that you want to talk to and have hold you accountable, because they're not afraid of you being mad at them or upset with them.
And I think accountability is one of those grossly misused words out there too.
It is, but it is. But in the context, I don't know if there's a better word to use here. If you need someone to say, "Hey, you're not doing the thing you said you were going to do, or you said you were going to do this," just as a reminder that you can still tell them to fuck off. I'm not going to do that. I changed my mind. That's fine. But at least they were there to do that. And if you don't have someone that'll actually do that, it can be very difficult sometimes.
And I think that you can find people who will hold you accountable as opposed to colluding with you without telling them to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
We all know the people who call us out on our bullshit. And we don't need to tell them to call us out on our bullshit.
Nope.
As a matter of fact, it feels
I don't
really
need and they don't need me to
anti-productive.
call them out on theirs either. I mean, my friends that I go visit all the time, we're exactly that way.
Yeah.
It's
I almost, again, maybe it's just my problem with authority, but when people hold me accountable, I just want to punch them in the fucking face. I didn't ask for it.
right. No, Chad,
You
I'm
know?
not giving away the car because both you and Camellia said you wanted it. So now that 2 people wanted it, the deal's off. I don't know if there's an absolute right or wrong, and I think that's another problem in society with these kinds of things. Starting off this show, we talked about self-love and made the jokes about masturbation, because as soon as you say self-love in our society, in America, immediately most people think of masturbation or some kind of a sexual gratification.
Some sort of
some
indulgence.
sort.
Some
Yeah.
sort of instant gratification indulgence.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I think that if you need understanding yourself is self-love. And being honest with yourself is self-love. Being
Self-love.
patient with yourself is self-love.
And I think
So-
that's really what we want to challenge, is that idea that self-love is so much more than the definition we give it currently.
Yeah. So much more nuanced. And humans are nuanced. And I think that I think the pretext of this entire show is just trying to call out the nuances and the differences between people and what it means to be you or me or Camellia or Robbie or Dirk or Chad or that's the engagement that we want to get from the chat, is what
I'm
does it mean
hoping
to
that-
you? What are the
Exactly.
nuances?
I'm hoping that
what are the
people can
nuances
find
that
the paths
we're
in here.
missing here? You know, I just special
And you don't have to
thank you
share them in
Robbie.
the chat. We just want you to have the opportunity to think about it.
Yeah. Well, and
not
thank
all
you
of
to the
our-
people who have shared, like Robbie. You know, like
Yeah. You,
That was-
you incited a conversation. I mean, an argument. I mean, no, wait. Anyway.
well, and like
get the
Camellia
point.
says, there's only one answer to a math problem, and our argument is there's more than one way to get to the answer.
Yes.
And so, like, right and wrong in and of themselves are not necessarily subjective. However, the path to rightness or wrongness can be a meandering path.
It almost has to be. We are not a straight line race. The human race is not a straight line race. We make, lack of a better term, pecker trails throughout our entire life. This way, then that
Is that
way.
another
then
throwback
this
to the
way, then this way.
masturbation?
No. It has to do with wandering around through life because you don't always know where you're going. You don't always have a destination. You might have a goal, you might have ideas you want, but day to day, I didn't really plan anything for today. What do I do today? Well, maybe it's the day for the self-love. Maybe today's the day you do some regenerative stuff. Maybe it's the day you mow the lawn because you haven't mowed the lawn all winter. I don't know. But it's still important. All of those things need to be need to be on the table, and you need to allow yourself to be able to do or not do them.
We had talked a little bit about the difference between right and wrong as like good and bad, and we talked a little bit about polarity as opposed to being right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think about polarity, I think of negative and positive, like ions or like electricity. Polarity.
Right. Not negative, positive in good or bad, but negative,
It's not-
positive in
yes.
attract or repel, which is what magnetism and electricity, the electrons, do in that case.
Right. And at the end of the day, I truly believe that we are electrical in a lot of ways. We are electrical in our lives. And what is necessary for us to repel in a moment could change in the next moment.
See, what did Camellia say here? There is always an absolute right or wrong. There's only one answer to a math problem. Correct. But that's where math fails in this category. That's where mathematics doesn't apply here anymore. Because if you try and make this all a pure mathematical equation, it'll never add up. Because we are not mathematical. We don't live our lives mathematically. We don't. 1 and 1 and 1 is not 3 sometimes. 1 and 1 and 1 is 4 sometimes. It's because we decided it is. It's subjective in that way.
I want to look up what she's saying here with the malleum in say. Show. Yeah,
I was gonna say, that's maybe we'll learn something new. That's what this is about, folks. Is the opportunity to learn.
What is that?
Both ways.
What does that mean? I'm gonna Google that real quick.
An act that is wrong in itself morally, and an act that is considered wrong by society.
Huh.
So hit goals like a job, buy a house. Luckily, I was able to do that. Sure, that's being responsible, but then there's people like me, Robbie. I don't.
Some people
dream
don't
of owning a home anymore.
Responsibility is subjective.
Yeah, so the responsibility is subjective. Responsibility for me is maintaining now my apartment. That's now the goal. 3 weeks ago, that wasn't the goal. 3 weeks ago, I had a completely different set of goals.
Well,
we have to live in a society, Chad. Unfortunately, we have to live in a society.
I mean, I do what I can to try and withdraw myself, but then I find assholes like Chad on the internet, and I decide that I kind of want to.
Yeah, but he's such a lovable asshole. I mean, he's got that awesome beard. He looks very huggable. I mean, if I met Chad in person, I'm gonna hug him. I mean, I'm gonna.
How could you not?
I mean, right? Because he's huggable. It's Chad.
I know his hair is very.
Have you found that yet?
I'm looking for it.
You're looking for it. I don't know what language it is. It's cool.
That's Latin.
Is it Latin? Yeah.
It
See,
is,
I speak almost English, American English. That's almost English. That's what I speak.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen to show you what I came up with when I searched that. Because I'm a sucker for big words.
A Bigfoot and a teddy bear both.
That sounds dangerous. Okay,
It,
so
it could be.
malum in se refers to an act that is inherently wrong or immoral, regardless of whether it's illegal, while malum prohibitum describes an act that is only considered wrong because it is specifically prohibited by law, meaning the act itself is not inherently immoral. Essentially, malum in se is evil itself, whereas malum prohibitum is wrong because it is prohibited. Whew.
Spitting on the sidewalk is not morally wrong.
Dogs on a
It
leash. Dogs on a leash is
not
not
morally wrong. Yeah, I mean,
morally wrong.
I understand that. That's a very good analogy. That is
Yeah.
a very good analogy.
But it is prohibited for a number of reasons in certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for that, Camellia, because it makes me think about stuff and things. It makes me think about stuff and things.
Yes, you're right, Robbie. I did.
Oh,
That's another story.
right. At the end of the day, I really love this Calvin Coolidge quote, and I think it is apropos. And that is, nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not, for the world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence is how we will evolve as humans. And I think that
Hey, Indy.
the more persistent we are about understanding ourselves is how we can show the world the love that we have for ourselves and the love that we have for
Absolutely
it.
agree. Absolutely agree.
And that being said, we're at 56 minutes. We said we wanted the show to be around an hour, hour and a half, and we were going to try and break it up with some music or fun things. Do you have anything musical or funny or fun to just give us a moment as like a palate cleanser, and then we can come back around after we've sat on some of these things for a minute and see what the chat has to say? And
I don't, but we could probably grab a community song.
Okay, you just broke the first law of improvisation.
Yeah.
You can't say no.
That was an active no, because I was looking for the alternative as I was giving the no to the first, because I don't have anything ready. I could do this.
Well, but we are gonna do a thing. We're gonna do a thing. What's happening?
See, that was improv, right there. See that? I played a new song.
Yes, very.
Good morning, frogs. Apparently frogs had some problems.
I had frogs in my throat.
Jimmy C and Friends is out there. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for being here. Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time and choosing to spend some of it with us, especially when you have no idea what we're doing, what we're going to talk about. And these are all going to be kind of like this. They're all going to be a little freeform and a little broad-banded in that respect.
And we might be a little high-hatted with our opinions on some of these things, because I think
well, that's okay, because
we've been through some stuff, and that's just the way it is. I've spent significant
I'm not trying
time.
to. My answers for me are not somebody else's answers necessarily.
No, we just get so inundated with what is.
This is the way.
Well, and then with the, we've got the stupid media, and by media I don't mean like the news media. I mean like the storytelling media that really kind of sets these preconceived. And I think over the years, especially in the last few years, we can say that there's a lot of things fed to us from a fairy tale, from a storytelling standpoint, that we should take with a grain of salt in a lot of ways. Next week, I think we're going to be talking about what romantic love and what it means to be in a romantic partnership, and how some of the media has led us to believe, and a lot of the stories that we hear, true stories or fictional stories, all the stories, we're kind of fed this narrative as to what it means to be a good romantic partner. And that's what we're going to be really touching on next week.
It's a big subject.
Yeah, that's a big subject. And again, I'm only coming from my experiences, and they have been, I would say that I've had some healthy perspective with my experience. They have spanned a great breadth. And so I want to share some of that with the chat as to what the possibilities are, because I've lived them. They're my lived experiences. Whether or not they work for other people, I don't know. But again, I think we get fed sort of ideals, and then our what we've witnessed in our lives kind of directs it as well. So
I think so too.
Just opening up to new and different, and that's what we're here for. Sing us a song, Richard. What do you got for us?
Oh, I don't know. I can probably sing something. I'm trying to get this to cooperate. It doesn't want to. It's going to.
Is it?
Yes. There it is. See,
Okay.
right there.
Because I know what song I want to sing. I haven't sang this one. Well, I've been singing this one a lot lately, but I think I like it.
Nope. I am gonna do.
Oh, musical break.
Stupid.
Robbie has something for us to share on a musical break. Okay, I'm gonna copy that.
Yeah, copy that. Go find that out. I'm gonna do this little ditty here as soon as I share it with you.
Okay. Oh, so many tabs. Hi, I'm Patrick's ex-wife. I don't know how I feel about that. Seems invasive. Well, there's your shared screen. I'm gonna mute myself.
That's fine. I was just going after Patrick's ex-wife there, but somebody else can handle it. Why isn't this working? There it goes. There it is. Hot August night and the leaves hanging down, the grass on the ground smelling sweet. Ooh, the road to the outside of town and the sound of that good gospel beat. It's a ragged tent gospel group telling you and me it's a love, brother love, say brother love's traveling salvation show. Pack up the babies and grab the old ladies and everyone goes, 'cause everyone knows the brother love show. Suddenly still, and when you'd almost bet you could hear yourself sweat, he walks in. Eyes black as coal, and when he lifts his face, every ear on the place is on him. Starting soft and slow, like a small earthquake, and when he lets go, half the valley shakes. It's love, say brother love's traveling salvation show. Pack up the babies and grab the old ladies, and everyone knows about brother love show. Hallelujah, brothers. I say, brothers, now you got yourself two good hands. When your brother is troubled, you got to reach out your one hand for him, because that's what it's there for. When your heart is troubled, you got to reach reach out your other hand. Reach it out to the man up there. 'Cause that's what he's there. Take my hand in yours. Walk with me this day. In my heart I know I will never stray. Holly, 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 holly. Love, brother, love, soul, brother, love's traveling salvation show. Pack up your babies and grab your ladies and everyone goes. I still love, brother, love, soul, brother, love's traveling salvation show. Pack up your babies and grab your ladies and everyone goes. Brother Love Show. There you go. It's all about love. You're
It
muted,
is.
Keri.
It's all about
There
the
you go.
love. It's all about the love. We're not here to fuck with people, call them out. Thank you for people who have jumped on the mods. I couldn't find Patrick's ex-wife in the.
It was already handled, but that's why I stopped,
Good.
because somebody was already doing it, and our mods are way faster than I'll ever be.
Well, and it was not showing up on my YouTube side, so I apologize. I wish I could have, protected a friend a little bit faster, because that was ridiculous. And that's not what we're here to do here. Like, we're here
No.
to talk about hard things, but we're not here to make judgments. We're not here to, quote unquote, call people out in a sort of disintegrating way.
Yeah,
We
we're
can call
not
people-
we're not here to teach you. We're here to make you think. These are our views. These are our stuff. This is what we've gone through and what we think. And that is together and separately. You're going to hear, just like earlier when we had the difference of opinion. And that's one of the things. It's one of the reasons I'm here with Keri. I'm going to say this right now just to get it out of the way. That's one of the reasons I'm doing this, is because we can have a difference of opinion and discuss the options and agree to disagree if that's if that's what happens at the end of the day. But you got to be able to have the discussions, and this is that. This is
Right.
us trying to have that discussion.
And healthy discussions. And
Yes.
I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't care if your husband is a registered sex offender. Not my business.
Yeah,
And you know what?
it wouldn't
I
matter.
would hope that you are working through that with your husband in a healthy manner. And I am not going to go looking for more details on that and to talk.
Or that's the excellent reason you have for Jackwagon X1 to be out of your life. It doesn't matter. Whatever. That's you.
doesn't
and that's a
matter.
personal decision. And we're not here to fix.
Listen,
judge,
I know people who
say
have gone
any of
on that list for peeing because they were drunk and they
Because
did
they were
not
drunk,
look
yeah.
around. They didn't look
Yeah.
around to see that it was on a school fence. So like I don't know the circumstances surrounding that. That is not for me to judge, and everybody is welcome in this chat unless they're going to just be bullheaded and not open.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or just plain stupid as this
Or just
current
make statements that are inflammatory for no
yeah,
reason
it
without
doesn't make
having-
sense. And that's okay. That's why these mods are amazing, and appreciate all of you. Thank you. Thank you very
thank
much.
you to whoever ended up shutting that down. So That being
Andy
said,
says just ignore him. It's what he does.
yeah, but I mean, we can't ignore the fact that there are trolls and there's people for trolling. People have these actions that they take, and I think that ignoring and ignorance are two different things. And so I will not tolerate ignorance, and that was a very ignorant, one-sided statement.
Ignorant and or hate. And I don't care if you disagree with me, but you don't need to be mean about it. Because trust me, I can be mean, and I can probably be meaner than you.
Yeah,
'Cause
there's just
you-
there's just no need for it. Yeah.
You'll find out as this goes on. There'll be more stories. Trust me. There's things worth learning if you stay here long enough. Exactly, Chad. No room for hate.
You know, and I feel sorry for people like that, but they don't need my oxygen. That being said, I am going to sing my little song here.
All right, you sing your little song. That'll be our break, and then we can kind of start wrapping up with the end of the points.
End of the points.
End of the. Oh, I gotta mute my mic. Sorry.
Do we have points? I don't know if we have points. Everything should be an open-ended discussion. Let me add that to the stage there, and I'm just gonna press play on this. We should probably make some room for some of the promos too that we got going on, because Kurtfest is important. That said, I'm gonna sing my song first. Don't you be wasting all your money on syrup and honey, because I'm sweet enough. Don't you be using every minute on making a living, because we've got our love. Listen to me. 1, 2, 3. Baby, 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 spend your time on me. Don't you be out all night long, leaving me alone, because I need your love. Don't you be spending every day working away, because I'm waiting for you. Listen to me. 1, 2, 3. Baby, 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 spend your time on me.
I have not heard that in a million years. Awesome. That was
That's
fantastic.
good stuff. It's good
Yep.
stuff.
It seemed like the track was really hot. Now that might have just been to me, but your voice was definitely under that.
It was,
in
well,
mine,
I was panicking and I didn't.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I could have
I
probably.
gotta do something now. I gotta just go. I know.
Just
I know
go.
the feeling.
Just sing the song.
I know the feeling. Been there, done that. Well, you
We're
brought
just
it
gonna
up,
sing.
and I'm wearing the shirt.
Yeah.
Kurtfest is on the
Kurtfest.
8th, and from what I understand, now I have not been in direct contact with G, but I know that things are progressing at a very rapid rate, and I know there are a lot of artists there, and he's still accepting. If you're an independent artist, or you want to sing, you want to do something, get a hold of G-May. Watch any one of his shows or ask anybody around. He's got a specific email for it, just like I do. So, but be there for Kurt Fest. It's going to be fun. It's going to be amazing. So many artists in that. I think last count was 32 or 33 people, acts.
Speaking of artists, Alley Patches joined us in the chat, and I do believe there's some Alley Patches artwork that is gracing
Mm-hmm.
our thumbnail currently for the month of September.
Wow, you having a Chad moment there? You get it. Just a new name for a
September
random
is just
month.
a thing.
Okay, but yes, the background of our thumbnail today was originally done for me. I have it on a shirt that says "Lollydabbing through life," and that was an original piece
Artwork,
of
courtesy of Alley Patches.
Yes. And thank you very much for throwing
all
that
you
up there.
September
to her
fans.
Mm-hmm. Yes, feel free. If you get a wrench in here, feel free to put up a link for something if you want to share something with people. That's, we're not, everybody won't have a wrench here, but so far the people that have come in all deserve that. So
with certain exceptions.
yeah,
I'm glad I wrenched people, because there's no way I could have done that fast enough. Robbie Stingle gave me a link a little ways back, and I'm trying to find it. Oh, geez, where is it?
I saw him put that link in there. Did you grab it?
I didn't copy it because I can't copy paste in the
that's one of here we go. I got you.
Do you have it? Because
I got it right here. I'm about to share it with you.
Do you want to play that song from Robbie while we're still?
Yep, we'll get this done. It's not very long. It's only about 6 minutes, and that's short for a Robbie song.
That's a short Robbie song.
That's a short Robbie song. So yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Share the screen. There it is.
Does it let you share? Okay, and then I add the stage. There we go. All right. So Robbie, thank you for this.
Thank you, Robbie.
Ghost
Thank you,
Ship
everyone,
original.
for participating thus far today.
Yeah, I cannot state enough the joy that I have for the amount of people that we have in the chat on our first episode here.
Thank you all very much.
I mean, just the fact that you guys showed up to listen to us jaw jack and have this little chat show. My heart is swelling with love for you all. So I'm gonna wait. You gotta hit play on that.
All right, I'm hitting play. Here we go.
Hit play on that. Let's listen to a little bit of Robbie, and then we'll have our finishing words.
Where is it we're going? Have we even been here at all? The captain isn't knowing. First mate's been keel hauled. I seem to recall the told the ship sank in its murky depths. No one survived as I recall, but it's just too early for me to say just yet. The ship sails into oblivion. The sails catch the devil's wind. Captain knows not where we've been, and the ghost ship sails on. Where are we going? Where have we gone? The fog is a-glowing, as we sail on. I can't seem to remember the life I've left behind. We set sail in November. Now I'm living without time, without time. Where are we going? Where have we been? The fog is we sail on. We sail on and on. This ghost ship, this ghost ship's never gone.
Robbie, thank you for sharing that song with us. I feel like it
Sorry,
really
I lost my
fits,
mouse for a second there.
really fit.
Yeah.
I was going to say something heartfelt and well, moments pass. No, I'm just kidding. Robbie, thank you for sharing that song. It was very apropos to the entire vibe of our show. Welcome, Mr. Smith. Thank you. This is a collaboration between me and the Falcrow, but turns out you have to be on a paid StreamYard to be able to stream to multiple locations. So we're gonna have to figure out a workaround to stream it to the Falcrows.
We'll figure that out later. We're not even worried about that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not worried about it. But it is mostly a chat show. We are going to do some nice palate cleansing musical interludes, but for the most part,
I mean, this was pretty light today, but some of the stuff we get into later where we're talking about our lives and things, that might get a little intense, and that break will make a lot more sense then than it did today.
Right. And thank you, mods, for... I was not expecting that level of chat BS that quickly. I thought for sure we'd have to be more popular to have.
No. I think we can say we made it into some part of the algorithm for certain, because at least one troll found us.
At least one. Listen, they say that if you don't have haters, you're not making a difference. So, I mean, a watch time is a watch time is a watch time, but I do appreciate, it's fine. Don't apologize, because watch times are watch times.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, Indy. That's you have no control over. That's not your fault.
Yep, no,
Not
that's
your
why
fault.
we made you a mod, and that's why things are being taken care of in the ways that they're taken care of, and we just, I mean, views are views in the algorithm. It's fine. Just keep deleting the comments and doing what needs to happen.
Yep.
And there was quite a few asshats. I'll do my best to block everybody, but I'm not going to make promises. So that's why we mod so many people that we know and love.
Yeah.
So they can take
as
care
we
of
get
it.
further in this, that'll come along, and I'm gonna say that we could probably make this a subscriber to the channel for 1 minute or less and stop a lot of that. Because that's what I did on my channel to stop a lot of
Speaking
the
of
trolls.
subscribers, I broke 100.
Woohoo!
I
Nice.
broke 100.
Congratulations, Keri.
I mean, I have had a YouTube channel for a little while now, and I just got the note that I had broken 100. So I mean, I have to go back through and figure out, give special shout outs, but 100, I mean, it's
a
what
milestone.
it is.
It's always a milestone.
Yeah, it's a milestone, and that's with like next to nothing of substance really on my channel, just a bunch of random shit. I'm really looking forward to the fruition of what we're doing here today, because I think that it's going to start a little ripple in a little pond, and
I hope so.
who knows? Who knows where we
I
go
hope
from
so.
there?
In effect to change, you have to do something first.
Right,
So,
and I didn't know
Carl
what I wanted
Sagan
to
said
do.
it this way. Now, I'm a Carl Sagan fan, and I know there's people out there that think he was just a freaky, weird dude, but he said something that made a whole lot of sense to me. He said, if you want to change something in this universe, the first thing you need is a universe. Start at the beginning.
There are some very terrible people who said some very smart things, and that does not change the difference of that one statement that they made. We just get to pick the context in which we use it.
Yeah. And that's the context I use that in, because it makes sense to me. It doesn't, that's the beauty of this stuff that we talk about too. If we're talking about stuff and it doesn't make sense to you, maybe it's something you don't need to hear, or it's not for you, or whatever. You're just participating, and thank you even more for that.
Right.
But we're hoping that everybody can get something to take home with them from this, whether it was a laugh, or whether it was an idea, or whether it was
And you
just
might
a
judge
rosy
us to
glow
be
on the
terrible
horizon.
people, but don't disregard everything we say just because you think we're terrible people.
I am terrible people, but I'm really fun.
We could be.
Anyway.
We don't know. It's not for me to judge. Your opinion of me is none of my business. Your opinion of me is none of my business.
All right. We are about to hit an hour and a half,
Right.
Keri.
We are. I'm so
Yep.
proud of us because we're going to do a hard stop at an hour and a half because we want to give you guys incentive to go back and re-listen. And an hour and a
Please.
half is a digestible amount of content if you are a mature adult who enjoys some content.
Yep. Exactly.
So, anyway, so let's go ahead and we'll play our outro, give you guys something to stew on here for a minute. And thank you all for joining us. We will see you next Monday. Don't forget to look into things like Kurt Fest and support independent music artists because Lord knows we need we need support for things that are going against the industrial machines that just make corporations money. Not that I have anything against corporations, whatever. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying get out there, be brave, explore the unexplored, show some love to your neighbor, show some love to yourselves, take care of yourself by taking care of the people around you. But not at the expense of yourself. I don't know. I'm just rambling because I'm trying to find the right buttons right now.
Yep. Live life intentionally.
Live life intentionally. Absolutely. And we'll, maybe it'll be next month that we unpack what intentionality truly is.
That might be a good subject for that.
It really is because I think people misunderstand intentionality. That being said, here's our outro. Thank you guys for joining us. Everybody in the chat, everybody who participated, everybody who helped us mod. Just
The
all the
night
things.
says hello with the soft glow. We took a ride on this talk show. Stories shared and secrets low. Time to linger, but we gotta go. Voices faded with the moon's call. Laughter echoed down the hall. Like paper dolls, wrap it up and let it fall. Turn the volume down low, my friends. This chatter's come to an end. Till we gather again and again. Let these moments extend. Quiet, hear the clock tick tock. Words won't stop, but we'll walk the walk. Dream a little till the next talk. Out of time, let's unlock. Turn the volume down low, my friends. This chatter's come to an end. Till we gather again and again. Let these moments extend. Quiet, hear the clock tick tock. Words won't stop, but we'll walk the walk. Dream a little till the next talk. Out of time, let's unlock. Turn the volume down low, my friends. This chatter's come to an end. Till we gather again and again. Let these moments extend. With open minds, now we drift on the book of fine. Page by page until we bind sweet goodbyes. Let's unwind.